Well, hello folks, and welcome to a festive holiday battle report. We're going to play some Age of Fantasy Skirmish. And what we have here before you is the famed icebreaker, the Yukon Cornelius, which is taking its annual voyage from Santa's workshop in the North Pole through the Northwest Passage and down to the Walmart and Amazon distribution centers on the eastern seaboard. But somewhere along that journey, the ship has gotten locked in the ice, and so the crew has had to snowshoe out. They've gone out for help, and they've left the ship and all the Christmas gifts on board. Leaving it up to Santa Claus, here's Santa Prime right here, and his recovery team to kind of march out and recover all those gifts. Unfortunately, Krampus, the scourge of the holiday season, right here, is also aware of the ship's predicament, so he has rounded up some raiders, and they're going to try to raid the ship and steal as many packages as they can. Dirty scoundrels.
Very dirty scoundrels.
They're going to try to ruin Christmas. So as I said, we're going to play a little Age of Fantasy Skirmish to see how this conflict unfolds. And our two teams are going to approach the icebreaker from different sides, and they're going to try to gather up some of these packages. Now, if they happen to get adjacent to a package during their turn, in lieu of shooting or fighting, they can pick it up and unwrap it. And some of these packages, maybe, 1 in 3, are glitter bombs. And so if one of Santa's recovery agents or one of Krampus's minions tries to open up a package and it turns out to be a glitter bomb, then he's going to have to make a quality check and see if he might get injured, which might leave him stunned or even knocked out of the game because there's a lot of glitter in there. So Santa's recovery team is made up of Santa Prime right here. He is a battle master with a heavy great weapon, and he is backed up by Kris Kringle himself here in the green cloak. And Kris Kringle is a mage. He's a level 1 mage. He also has a magic staff which shoots powerful bolts of rending, so that's handy to have. We have some Christmas Cossacks back in the back row. They have their rifles. And then the Merry Hunters right here. They have bows and hand weapons. They also have scout and stealth. And then Evergreen, the tree man, back here is a tree man brute.
He's very tough.
He is very tough. He also has Strider, which means, while these icy access points and the ladder are going to be difficult terrain for everybody else, he'll just be able to scramble up. He's not bothered by that. Now, of course, Krampus here is going to try to thwart the recovery efforts. He's going to try to steal as many gifts as he can get. He is a barbarian champion and also a sorcerer. He is a caster level 2, so he has twice the casting power of poor Kris Kringle, though Kris Kringle has his magic staff.
He'll have to put that to good use.
He will have to zap some barbarians. Krampus is backed up by a couple of grumpy Havoc warriors. We have Scrooge and Grinch. He's also recruited an Arctic ogre over here. And a metric ton of snow vandals back here. These are barbarians from the mountains. And they want some Christmas presents too. They want shiny packages and stuff.
They always have. They always will.
They always have, those vandals. So Krampus has more raw troops. He has 7 units versus Santa's 5, but Santa has more shooting. I think Kris Kringle can shoot, the Hunters can shoot, and the Cossacks can shoot. And on Krampus's crew, nobody can shoot. They're more into close combat and stuff. But Krampus does have some magical powers, and some of his spells do have range, so he'll have to make do with that, plus sheer force of numbers. So Lynn, you're going to be playing Santa and his recovery crew?
Yes.
All right, we're going to take a quick moment to deploy off camera, and then we're going to play a festive holiday game of Age of Fantasy Skirmish from one-page rules and see whether Santa's recovery team or the filthy unwashed barbarians can gather up the most packages.
It's going to be chaos.
It's going to be chaos. Okay, our forces are deployed. On the side of the ship, Krampus and his barbarians are advancing to try to get some Christmas gifts. And on the opposite side of the icebreaker, Santa and his recovery team are closing in. They're all going to slow down significantly when they hit those chunks of ice or the ladder, because that's difficult terrain to climb up the side of the ship, except for Evergreen the Tree Man, who can ignore such things and just clamber up like he's a squirrel. Rolling for initiative. I got a 1. And Santa got a 5, so his recovery crew will be moving first. And this is an alternating activation game, so Lynn will pick 1 unit and activate it, and then Krampus will get to pick a unit and activate it. And since Krampus has more barbarians, they're going to get some extra moves at the end of the turn. And I suspect they're going to get thinned out by arrow fire and rifle fire and magical bolts, courtesy of Santa's crew. So that problem will rectify itself pretty quickly, I think. And to start out the turn, Kris Kringle will get 1 mana crystal to indicate his magical power. And Krampus gets 2. So he has more magical power to spend. Okay, who's activating first on Santa's crew?
The Christmas Cossacks are going to rush toward this present over here.
They can't quite reach it, but they can rush in that direction. So the Christmas Cossacks have moved. The barbarians are going to take that lying down, so they're going to rush toward the Cossacks. So they have rushed as fast as their little barbarian legs will carry them. And I hope if the Cossacks open that gift first, that it's a glitter bomb. That would be funny. All right, who are you going to move?
Tree Man.
Tree Man. No, Tree Man. He rushes up to the boat. Despite the side of the boat being a little bit low, we've said that you need a ladder or an ice chunk or something to climb up the side. So the Tree Man will be able to scramble up onto the ship on his next turn. All right, Krampus is going to rush. He can only move a maximum of 6 inches if he's on the ice cube there. So he'll be able to rush up to it, and the next turn he'll be able to climb all the way up. So to keep the game from running too long, we're going to make this a 4-turn game. So just so we can keep track, we're going to put this die right here, which will have the same characteristics as the giant ice cube, so it can be climbed. Okay, so who's moving next?
Kris Kringle.
Kris Kringle, Santa's favorite sorcerer, moves up to the ice staircase. So Kris Kringle right here is going to cast a spell at the Christmas Cossacks. And what spell is that?
Wild Folk. So then they'll have +1 to the next melee attack.
All right, which might be handy because there's some barbarians over here. Is that a 1-point spell?
It is.
All right, you need a 4+. 1 point of mana is spent, and you didn't quite get it. All right, so Kris Kringle is moved. So the Nordic ogre that they recruited back at the fjord has moved up to the base of this icy rock, and he's going to try to ascend to the ship next turn. So who's moving on the recovery team?
Santa Prime.
Santa Prime, who doesn't have any spells, but is a mighty warrior with a giant, great candy cane. Okay, Scrooge is going to run up to the rocks here and try to help out the ogre. Humbug. You know something we forgot to do? These hunters here have scouts, so they can deploy closer to the ship. So technically, they could be all the way on the boat. They've scouted. They scouted out the ship and found their way on deck. So the hunters right here could try to open that package, but instead they're going to shoot down at the barbarians here, right?
Yep.
Okay. So 3 shots at what, a 5+?
5+.
So 2 hits from the hunters. All right, the poor little barbarians are defending on a 5+. And they defended once. They blocked 1. But that means 1 other barbarian is killed. And his Christmas wishes are dashed.
Now your 3 other Havoc Warrior teams get to go.
Yeah, we have a group here, a Havoc Warrior here, and 2 barbarians here. They've lost 1. I guess these guys will rush over here in preparation for assaulting the ship. This Havoc Warrior, the Grinch, is going to move way over here and maybe confront Santa at some point. And these warriors here are going to help Krampus out, I think. They're going to back him up. And I think that's all the movement in turn 1.
It is.
So we're going to flip over the big die, get rid of our activation tokens, and go into turn 2. And since the barbarians activated a unit last in turn 1, then Santa's minions will get to activate first in turn 2. Okay, so at the top of turn 2, who's doing what?
The Cossacks are going to shoot the barbarians.
Okay, the Christmas Cossacks are going to shoot these angry barbarians over here. Sounds like a good idea. So 3 shots at a 5+. Oh, 3 6s. You hit them 3 times.
AP1.
AP1, so they need a 6. Defending on a 6. And they don't, so they take 3 hits. So 2 barbarians are removed. And the last one has to roll on the wound chart. Dead. You shot him. You shot him on Christmas Eve. So the Christmas Cossacks unleashed hell on the poor barbarians. So I think Krampus is going to wreak a horrible revenge, or try to. He's going to rush up to the top here. Because that's difficult terrain, he can only move 6. And he's going to cast some sort of a spell on these wily hunters back here. Since he got more magic tokens this turn, he now has a total of 4 to spend on something. Okay, since Krampus here can see the hunters and the tree man, he can see the tippy top of the tree man, he's going to attempt to cast Thornfield, which targets 2 enemy units within 12 inches, and they each take 2 hits. So that is a 3-point cast. So Kris Kringle is going to spend one of his magic points to try to diminish that, and so now Krampus has to get a 5+ to activate that spell. See what happens. 4!
Yes, I'm glad I put that in. I'm glad I tried to block.
So that was a point well spent. You spent 1 point, and Krampus spent 3 trying to cast that spell. Okay, so Krampus activated. Tried to cast a spell. Didn't quite work. Okay, on Santa's turn, what's going on?
The Merry Hunters are going to try to shoot Krampus.
Okay, so they're right here in a row. They're going to shoot Krampus over here. And they hit on what, a 5+?
5+. 2 hits.
2 hits. So Krampus over here is trying to block 2 arrows. 2 1s. So he takes 2 hits off his total of 3. So he's down to 1 wound. So Krampus gets hit by a couple of arrows, which he doesn't avoid. Okay, the Nordic Ogre is going to charge up the icy rock. So he rushes up. He's going to open up that package. Lynn is hoping for a glitter bomb.
Glitter bomb, glitter bomb.
So that's on a 5 or a 6. Otherwise, it's just a nice gift. 2.
It is a present.
It's a present. So 1 point for the barbarians because they opened up a package. Okay, on Santa's turn,
The tree man is going to attack Krampus.
Tree Man scrambles up the ladder. All right, the mighty Tree Man is trying to squash poor Krampus, who's down to 1 wound. 3 hits on a 4+.
2 hits.
2 hits.
AP 1.
So Krampus needs a 6 to defend. Gets 1. He still takes 1 wound. He's down to 0. Has to roll on the wound chart. So he rolls. He adds 3, and he wants to get less than an 8. He's stunned. And he falls down. Now, if anybody attacks him while he's down, then he's just dead. All right, so that was a good turn for Santa's minions. How am I going to redeem myself, you ask? Well, I'm going to steal a package right out from under Santa's nose. So this Havoc Warrior rushes forward, and he's going to open up that package.
Glitter bomb, glitter bomb.
On a 5 or a 6, it's a glitter bomb. 1. It's a nice little gift. Perhaps it is a...
Fruitcake.
Perhaps it's a fruitcake. Perhaps it's a fondue set. So, all right. So we have 2 packages. And what you're going to try to do is wipe out every single barbarian on the face of the ice so that you can have everything left. Plus, once a team is whittled down to 50% or below, they got to start making morale checks. Okay, so just as these barbarians are thinking about climbing that rock, Santa Prime whips around the corner and says hello. He's going to bonk him on the head with a giant candy cane. 1 hit, AP 3.
That's not very good.
Could have been better.
Could have been better.
But you killed one anyway. You squashed him like a bug. So they're attacking back. They need a 5+, but they have flails, so that gives them AP 1, I think. 2 attacks. 5+. 1 hit on Santa. Does not block it, so he takes a wound. Never bring a candy cane to a flail fight.
I guess
That's
not.
what I say. So Santa Prime backs up 1 inch. He's fatigued and slightly wounded. All right, I think these barbarians here are going to go up here. That's as far as they can go because it's difficult terrain. So they are on deck. Krampus is still on his face. And your final guy of this turn is Kris Kringle. So Kris Kringle climbs the icy rock to the top of the deck there. So Kris Kringle is up here on deck. Opens up a package. And it is not a glitter bomb. It is a set of scented candles or a Build-A-Bear.
Cool.
So how many packages do you have now?
1.
I have 2 and a number of dead soldiers. So the big question is, should Scrooge attack the Cossacks or run over here and try to get a package? He can't quite reach the package this turn. He will attack the Cossacks. Dun, 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 dun. Or better yet, he could open this package that's right next to them. Maybe he'll do that instead. He'll open up that package. Because you gunned down my friend, I'm stealing your package from your porch. And it is not a glitter bomb. It is instead
An ugly Christmas sweater.
an ugly Christmas sweater. That's what it is. All right. Is that the last guy I had for this turn? We're on turn 3. Moving into turn 3, and things are heating up.
Yes, they are.
Okay, time for some mana crystals. There's 1 for Kris Kringle, 2 for Krampus, though he's stunned at the moment, so he might not be able to use them.
And he still has 1 left over from last time.
Okay, so he's got a total of 3.
So Kris Kringle is going to cast a spell on your ogre.
All right, he's going to cast a spell on the poor Nordic ogre. Sven the Nordic ogre.
He's going to cast Fireball.
Fireball.
So I need a 4+. 4.
So Kris Kringle shoots a fireball at the ogre, and so he needs a 6+ to defend, right?
Yep.
Doesn't do it. That does 1 hit on the ogre, who has 3 wounds, so now he's down to 2.
And then Kris Kringle is going to run over and stomp on Krampus.
He's going to rush down the staircase and stomp on Krampus, who is lying on the deck, dispatching him from this plane of existence and becoming fatigued in the process because it's tiring exercising a demon of the holidays. Stomp, stomp. So on my turn, Sven the ogre from the icy fjord is going to rush over and open that package.
It's about time for a glitter bomb.
On a 5 or a 6. No! So instead it is, what is it?
It's a barbecue grill.
It's a fruit basket. I have 4 packages and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 casualties. You have no casualties.
Yes, but I only have 1 package.
So Sven the ogre is loaded down with gifts. So who's activating on Santa's wrecking crew?
The tree man is going to try to take out those barbarians so they can't get any presents.
He's going to sweep them from the deck.
He hits on a 4+, and 6s are double because he's furious.
He's a furious tree.
2 hits, and 1 is a 6.
So that's 3 hits actually, because the 6 is double. Okay, the barbarians, the shirtless barbarians are defending on a 6. They don't. One guy is killed outright, and the other guy takes 2 wounds. So he's got to roll on the wound chart, add 2. And he's dead. He's deader than dead. He's smashed into pulp. Squish. But regardless, the raid goes on, so these guys are going to rush up to the top of the deck and try to open a gift.
It's time for a glitter bomb.
Glitter bomb on a 5 or 6.
Yes.
No! It's a nice, tasteful gift, perhaps a silk scarf, a pair of mittens.
Or a sled. Yes.
It's a rosebud sled. Rosebud. So I have 5 packages. How many packages do you have? Just 1?
I have 1.
Just 1, but you have a mountain of dead. I think the barbarians are more interested in raiding, and the Santa's people are more interested in killing. For the most part, you have swept the deck clear of your enemies, except there's an ogre over here and 2 barbarians on the other side, way over here. So did I hear you speak the words Santa Prime?
Santa Prime is going to follow your directive and attack the Havoc Warrior.
Okay. Kill, Santa, kill!
Yes.
Poor Grinch. So Santa Prime swings a giant candy cane at the poor Havoc warrior known as Grinch. Swing away! Ooh,
Two
that's
hits.
good. 2 hits.
AP3.
AP3.
So he defends on a 6+.
Need a 6. A couple of 6s. Don't get him. Roll on the wind chart. Add 2. And that's the end of the Grinch. He goes back to the Grinch underworld. So I started out with 7, so I'm below 50%, so I got to take some leadership checks. And my leader is no longer around, so I can't lean on his quality to make those rolls. So we'll start with the warrior down there. What's he, quality? 3+ though, right?
Yep, 3+.
That's pretty good. But he fails it. And then the ogre up here, what's his quality? 4+? 4+. And he fails it. And then I have 2 barbarians. They're 5+. And they stick around, but that doesn't leave me with much. So the ogre takes off. He takes his ill-gotten gains and runs away. This Havoc warrior runs away. So since the ogre ran away and the Havoc warrior ran away, that leaves me with just 2 barbarians. And Santa's crew have taken precisely 0 casualties, right? You didn't lose any. Not a 1. Because you focused on mayhem rather than looting. But you still have people to activate, correct?
I have 1 unit.
Okay, the mighty hunters down there, what are they going to do? Are they going to try to shoot these barbarians? So the hunters run up. So the hunters run up the stairs. They're going to shoot these 2 little barbarians who are the last of Krampus's horde. Hitting on a 5+.
Nope.
Hitting none. And that, I think, is the end of turn 3. So going into turn 4, I think the barbarians are just going to jump ship. They're going to go running off into the wilderness. This guy's tangled in the cords. Leaving Santa's minions firmly in charge of the Yukon Cornelius, which still has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 gifts. So you can just wait for the ice to melt because maybe Kris Kringle has some weather magic he can deploy. He can just fireball.
He has fireballs.
Right, the ice until it melts, and then just sail it down to New England and get some clam chowder. And then dump off all the packages with UPS or something. And what they didn't realize is there was some of the former crew, the gingerbread men, hanging out in the crow's nest. So if there was a whiff of ginger in the air, that's because of these guys here. All right, I guess we can call that a major Santa Claus victory because he was able to sort out the supply chain issues in the Northwest Passage. And now the gifts will flow throughout the holiday season. So once again,
Santa saves the day.
all right, folks, we hope you enjoyed this festive holiday game of Age of Fantasy Skirmish from One Page Rules. Wherever you are, we hope you're having a great December and that none of your packages get stolen by Krampus or his ilk.